Good morning. Welcome to this year's RIEC annual meeting on cooperative, nationwide cooperative research project. My name is Akio Ishiguro. I am the chairperson of this opening session. In this session, Professor Satoshi Shioiri, the director of this research institute, will be talking about an introductory overview of this research institute and its cooperative research project. So, Professor Shioiri, please start your talk.
Good morning and welcome to the annual meeting on cooperative research project of RIEC. RIEC stands for Research Institute of Electrical Communication. And this meeting is for the exchanging the achievements or ideas of each project for this year and also past years, and also for giving the opportunity to discuss about the future project. The reason we have this meeting at this time is that the deadline for the next year proposal is the end of February, this month. So if you find something interesting, you can still some time to think about the proposal. So I hope you enjoyed this meeting, all sessions and poster sessions later on. Now, in this talk, I'd like to talk about three topics: introduction to RIEC and activity about Joint Usage Research Center, and also about a project which I have been contributing to as one of this JORAC project, that is eye movements and visual stability. Okay, introduction. First slide is about Tohoku University. It was established in 1907, and some old pictures, Einstein visit. And now we have, Tohoku University has about 18,000 students and about 3,000 faculty members. We are here, one of the 6 institutes of Tohoku University, and also one of about 30 organizations, institute, department school, graduate school, and so on. This slide shows the mission statement. Long statement, but in short, our mission is to aim at creating communication technologies that enrich humanity. We express this in Japanese, 人間性豊かなコミュニケーションの実現. So this means good communication in human society. Okay, this slide shows the organization of our institute. There are 4 research divisions. These are basically the main structure, main organization of this institute. All the members belong to either of these divisions. Information device, broadband engineering, human information system, and software. So these divisions covers a relatively large field in the field of ICT. From material devices to software networks and human sciences. And we also have 3 research facilities, 2 laboratories and 1 center, brainware system and nanoelectrics and spintronics. These 2 laboratories are for the project-based organizations. The project, lasting about 10 years or so. And the last one, 21st century information technology, we call that 21 IT Center. That is for facilitating the industry-university cooperation. This shows the short-term horizon, meaning the 5 years kind of period of time project. We also have many organizations which our faculty members contribute as the main members. To open a new field in these days, it is important to cooperate with people from the other organizations. So these are the centers or organizations built with other peoples than our institutes. It has many different kinds of fields we are contributing. Okay, this slide shows the brief history of our institute. our institute was established in 1935. Around this age, Tohoku University, professors of Tohoku University invented several important technologies in the field of electrical communication or information communication technology. One of them is the well-known fishbone type antenna by Professor Yangi and Professor Uda. And another one is a split anode magnetron invented by Professor Okabe, and also AC bias magnetic recording system invented by Professor Nagai. So these are the really basic findings for the future at this time for the electrical communications. So the institute has been working in the field of ICT, and more recently, the Junichi Nishizawa proposed 3 elements of optical communications that is now used in actual society. And Professor Shunichi Iwasaki invented a new technology of perpendicular magnetic recordings, and that is now used in all the hard disks all over the world. Both of them received the Order of Cultural Merit in Japan. I'd like to introduce some of the current research activities from in this slide for divisions, just picking up some. This is atomic resolution imaging based on the nonlinear electrical potentiometry in the laboratory of Chowan Yamasue. So the size, perhaps you can see that about 1 nanometer and 3 nanometer, very small size. Still, you can see the structure. This one describes the new method to get emission of unpolarized single photon emission. So if you can control the single photon, the technology can be used for the future quantum computing system. This picture describes the working place where there are many displays or other electric devices that has intelligence, so that it helps people to communicate each other well, and also collaborate each other well. So human interface technologies in the Kitamura and Takashima lab. This one described also very small picture, but these waves are from the measurement, electromagnetic measurement around the electrical devices. So you can read these. You can read some information on the computer, for example, only seeing these waves. So even you have perfect software security, it doesn't help to prevent the leakage of the information from the hardware information. So this is a study about hardware security in the Honma laboratory. Some achievement from the three facilities. This is from nanoelectronics and spintronics. This is a device for quantum annealing based on the spintronics devices, and it operates at room temperature. Very much promising, can be used in a larger scale for the quantum annealing calculation in future. This figure showed about the characteristics of this LSI chip. Horizontal axis shows the speed on Hertz, and the vertical axis the power consumed. So this previous LSI is distributing around here, slower and more power consuming. But this one, new one from Hanyu and Nansui lab, is here, fast and less power needed. This is about 60 gigahertz range antenna that could be used wireless IoT. that is important technology for the IoT society in the future. So you can see more about the findings in our laboratory, perhaps in the poster sessions. Now I'd like to talk about some numbers about our institute. This shows the number of staffs, faculty staff number about 65, and the students about between 200 and 250. And in total, our institute has a little more than 400 people, including students, staffs, and administration staffs. This shows the budget of our institute this year. And the green part is for operating grants from government. And the orange part is the external funds, including kakenhi or other type of support from the government or other organizations. The percentage of extra fund is about 40%. This is a very good ratio, but we are hoping to halve this percentage to 50%. Because we used to have about 50% of the external grant, and the operation was much easier at that time. All right. Some information about the international academic activities. These are the MOU, the university level agreement, which our institute contribute. The sign of main is we are the major organization of this agreement. Well, USA, UK, Germany, Taiwan, and so on. And also we have many department level agreements, Poland, Germany, France, and some other countries. I'd like to talk a bit about two projects which our institutes are doing now. One of them is about the brainware LSI. The term brainware is a coined term in our institute more than 20 years ago. That is a combination of brain and software and hardware. The project aimed to create new types of hardware, LSI, based on new concept, different from the typical LSI used in the computer now. To do that, they study about brain and getting to part of the brain function, and also importantly to reduce the power consumption, as brain works very well without taking much power. And these three are the examples of the new types of LSI, based on the new concepts, and hopefully they will be used widely sometime in the future. Okay, the next one is about iota scale informatics. If you look at this figure, this is about the information generated per year all over the world. The scale, it says 1. The unit is a iota byte. Iota is 10 to 24, so the very large number. And this is the line of the information generated per year. That just increases acceleratively. And if you look at the number at 2030, that exceeds 1 iota. In contrast, this green line, the total storage capacity, that also increases, of course, by the development of the technology. But there's a big gap. So you have to throw away most of the information you make at this time. So you have to choose information you want to keep. To do that, you have to estimate the value of the information. Of course, the value of the information or data varies depending on the individual organization or purpose. So we are thinking of collaboration with people from social sciences and humanities because they have their own idea of what is important, what has values. We hope to get some framework to get the human judgment or estimation in the computer based on data sciences. Okay, next things about the activities as a joint usage research center. This center is a system established in 2008, by the Ministry of Education, Culture, Sports, Science and Technology, next in short. And the major purpose, at least for us, of this center is to facilitate collaboration across different universities or other organizations in a particular field, in our case, information communication technology. And so for the purpose, what we do is to support the project. That is a RIEC Cooperative Research Project. And many of you are contributing to perhaps one of the projects. And this figure shows the number of the project as a function of the year. There are several different types of the project, but just look at this one, the total number. The total number increased from 2014 to 2018, just a bit decrease here. But the general trend is just increasing and stabilized. The number of faculty in our institute is about 65. The project number here is about 130. So I think this number is a good number for the best effort we can pay for the project without much influence for the other activities. So I don't think we expect just still increasing, but stabilizing in the future. This is just a number of the people to contribute to the society. It's a similar trend as the number of project number. We have several different types of the project in terms of the concept. Just picking up young researchers project and international cooperative research type. These two have additional support because we want to emphasize the importance of the young research study, young researchers, and also global activities. This is the trend of the budget change. About 50 millions here. The red line is the budget from government to support this project. We also spend some budget from our institute by ourselves. That is about 20% of all. Okay. Skip this one. Finally, I'd like to talk about one of our projects, eye movements and visual stability, as a researcher, which is more fun for me. Okay, this is a project with these people. I found this is interesting because I had the presentation once in 2010 at the annual meeting of this. That meeting was the first one of this project. At that time, I didn't have much to talk about because the project started not much later on the starting of the project. But now I'm happy to talk lots more about our achievement. Oh, by the way, the Shuhei Takano is a student and he is the main contributor of this study. Okay, visual stability is a question that you see world stable, even your retinal image changing a lot by your eye movement. If your eye move around like this, what you get on your retina changing like this. This is actually happening every day or every moment or even now. But I don't think you see the world is moving around, just stable world. That is a question of visual stability. It has been a big question in the field of vision sciences for a long time, maybe more than 100 years. One of the theory to explain the visual stability is remapping. The question here is how to map the retinal image to the spatial coordinate in your brain. So if you know the amount of the eye movement beforehand, you can use the information to calculate, to remap the relationship between the retinal image and the spatial coordinate in the brain. If it works perfectly, there is no problem. But usually it doesn't work perfectly, meaning that the eye movement can be different from the signal from the brain. So there is a small or some amount of visible shift, even the remapping system works well. So there should be the way to avoid to see the retinal motion, even there is a remapping. So people think about the suppression mechanism for the displacement during the eye movement. Oh, by the way, the eye movement is called saccade, very fast movement. If you are reading this picture, your gaze are staying here and jump here and staying here and jump here, staying for about several hundred milliseconds and jump takes about several tens milliseconds. So this is called saccade, and the stabilized period is called fixation. And this movement is perceived easily if your eyes are stable. But this jump happens during your eye movement, saccade, you don't see the displacement. Well, this is called psychotic suppression of displacement or SSD. Demo, okay. Could you try to look at the close path and then move your gaze to the white disk when you see the white disk here? And this disk always move from here to here, but sometimes you may not see the movement. If you perceive not seeing the movement, that indicates the displacement is the disk is displaced during the saccade, during your eye movement. I don't know if it works well, but to me it happens once every 5 times. So this is quite difficult to decide how long I should wait. Interestingly, the same phenomenon can be seen even if you see the most movement of the whole screen. So hopefully you sometimes not see the motion of the display when you are looking at something like this. And I really want you to experience this one, but I don't think you want to keep trying forever. So okay. Then there is a also interesting phenomenon called the blanking effect. In the demonstration, the displacement is without gap, meaning the disk has moved just like this. But if you put the blank after the disappearance of the first target and present it again after the eye movement, the situation is something like this. In this case, if you're looking at this without eye movement, the performance to detect the displacement is usually impaired, less sensitive. But in the case of saccade, this case, the suppression, the performance is becomes better, meaning the recovery from suppression you can find. Okay, this is the data. This is without gap. this is with gap. So if you put the gap like this, the detection performance, this is the correct term later, becomes higher. That means you have information to detect the displacement if there is no gap. If you have information but that is suppressed, that is recovered by the adding gap. So this is very important because you have information, perhaps that is suppressed actively. And my time is running out, so I skip some of the detail. What we did here is to vary the contrast of the targeting stimuli, pre-saccade and post-saccade independently. Perhaps you can guess for the more higher contrast stimuli that is more visible, the detection rate becomes higher, as the case of this one. But here, the difference between blank and non-blank is larger with higher contrast, meaning that some systems work actively to suppress the detection. And we changed the contrast of the stimuli, pre-saccade stimuli and post-saccade stimuli, 6 levels each. And we tested each combination, so 36 contrast conditions. And then the results are something like this. Horizontal axis shows in this panel the contrast of before the saccade. And D prime is just sensitivity or detection rate, if you like. That increases with contrast, not surprisingly. And these gray lines are from different contrasts of the post-saccadic stimuli. So you can plot the same data as a function of post-saccade stimuli. That is something like this, meaning that higher visibility, higher contrast, worse detection rate. So this is a quite strong evidence. There is an active mechanism to suppress detection of the displacement. This is a major finding of this study, and we, Shuhei Takana and we, tried to model, and we found, skipping the detail, pretty good model to explain what general trend of the data. So the main message of this study is that we found evidence, strong evidence. There is an active process to suppress the displacement after saccadic eye movement. That's it. Thank you very much.